Singleton has been a Toastmaster since 2008 and received her DTM in 2020. Chloe's first club was the MUSC Toastmasters. Since then, she has been a member of 5 other clubs. She currently is a member of the Low County, Holy City, and Mount Pleasant Toastmasters clubs, serving as VP of membership in 2 of the 3 clubs. As an area governor in 2014-2015, she frequently advised clubs on membership growth. Here is Chloe Singleton with her presentation on the VP membership role. Please help me welcome Chloe Singleton.
Well, thank you very much, Angela, and I appreciate that introduction. And also, I want you to know that my other facilitator today is none other than Bob Huddleston, who will be doing the slides. So I'm fortunate to have 2 facilitators. So if you will start the slides, Bob, please. First of all, I'd like to get an idea if you could show your picture of how many of you are here for the first time, or this is the first time you've been a VPM. Just raise your hand. Okay, I think, all right, we have a couple of us. I just wanted to get an idea. First of all, could you go back to the first slide, Bob? I am Chloe Singleton. Here is my contact information, and I'm happy to have you contact me at any time with any questions. Next slide. The VP of marketing position. This is literally the fun position, I think, of all the officer positions. You get to meet many, many interesting people and interact with them. You also have the opportunity and the responsibility to promote Toastmasters and all of its wonderful benefits. And I love talking about Toastmasters. So for me, that is not a stretch. Today, we will go over the recommended slides that they are presented for this presentation, as well as I am going to spend some time on those things that have helped me make the VP of membership position a success. And I hope that they will be a benefit to you. Basically, we will go over the role, the responsibilities, and then give you some resources about where you can find more information about the VPM position to help you along the way. And basically, what your 2 foci are in your position is to get more guests at the meetings and to make sure and help see that more members attend those meetings. So we want to, the next slide, you identify the role, you fulfill those responsibilities, and we'll go through the resources. The VP of M responsibilities, we have responsibilities during the club meeting, before the club meeting, during the club meeting, outside the club meeting, and at the executive committee meetings, and as a member of the executive committee. So we'll go over those responsibilities. So before the meetings, the next slide is number 1, make a list of members, the new members that have come to the club. And that way you will be on alert to go up to those members and warmly greet them each time they come, so they always feel welcome at the meetings. The next thing you will do is make the guest packets, the welcome packets. And I'll show you the contents of this in a little bit. And then contact former guests and members who have not been attending meetings to see if you can encourage them to come and rejoin you once again. So therefore, those are the things that you do outside the meeting. Upon the arrival to the meetings, you greet all the guests and the members, and then you provide the new guests with this welcome packet. And the welcome packet includes in it a join folder for the particular club. And I will show you this in detail a little bit later. Several flyers that you can get through the Toastmasters website, and definitely an application form, as well as a Toastmaster magazine. So that helps show them the credibility of the organization. Let them know that they're in a much bigger organization than just the club. And then you can answer any questions that the guests have. Then after the meetings, you meet with the guests to answer any of their questions or call them. Or my preferred method is just to send them a welcome email, thanking them for coming and giving them my contact information, saying I'm ready to answer any questions or comments that they want to have, and invite them to join the club. One thing to always take to every meeting is definitely the application form. If you take nothing else, you want to have application forms available. Then outside the meeting, you also plan for the membership building programs. And there are 3 programs that Toastmasters has throughout the year, and we'll go over those. You promote the membership goals, and the membership goal for every club is always 20 members. That is the target that you want to hit with your membership, because it takes 14 members to fill every role, so that there's no duplication of roles per member. And this also allows for some of those members that can't be there to be able to you be able to hold the meeting, and everything will go as planned. And you keep track of any of the guests that come. Then bring the membership applications. You assist the Vice President of Public Relations in what they're doing in promoting the club. And you, through Meetup, through a lot of different venues, and then ensure that the meeting information is correct and attend the executive committee meetings. I mentioned the membership building campaigns. There are 3 time periods that are really important, and these are August through September with the Smedley Award, February and March Talk Up Toastmasters, and May through June, the Beat the Clock. The good news is what will happen is that if you get 5 new members or reinstated or dual members in that time frame for your club gets a banner that they get to put on, a ribbon that they get to put on their banner, and they get a 10% discount on their next order to Toastmasters International. So you can highlight and promote these campaigns by saying, for the good of the club. And many people are motivated when they're doing something for something bigger than themselves. However, there are also individual awards, and this takes place anytime throughout the year. And the purpose of this is that if a member brings in 5 new members or 10 new members, they get a pin that they can wear showing that they brought in 5 or 10 members. If they bring in 15 members during the Toastmaster year, they get 25% on their next purchase from Toastmasters International. So there's rewards both on the club level and the personal level. Now, outside the club meeting, you will attend the area council meetings. There are usually 5 or 6 clubs in an area, and you also attend any of the other meetings that occur throughout the year on the district or the division level. You arrange for your replacement, and this is a good idea so that you are really helping someone else take over from you in the next year so that you can go on to other things, as well as making sure that all the duties of the vice president of membership are taken care of. Now we get into what is the meat of this talk, is some of the things that I do as VP of M that have really helped a great deal. First of all, I usually get an email, and it's shown up here, where Toastmasters International tells me that someone is interested in the club. One of the things that may be on this email is sometimes when people fill out this form on Toastmasters on the website, they will indicate why they're coming. Their boss suggested that they come. Someone told them about Toastmasters, and many times there's nothing there, but there is their name, their email, and their telephone number. So those are all good information for contacting. Then what I do is respond with an email that I have developed throughout the years. And don't panic. I know this is hard to see, so we're going to parse this letter into its various parts so that you can see what is in the letter and how I do this. First of all, there's the warm greeting, and I say, we are delighted to learn of your interest in whichever club it is. And I bold the club so that it shows up. If you're holding it at a distance, it jumps out at you on the page. And then I tell them about what Toastmasters is in general terms in the few short paragraphs. The next part is the when, where, and how. Again, I bold the information that is important, and then and in the case of a hybrid club, which the Mount Pleasant Toastmasters is, we give them the location as well as the link to join the club by Zoom and when it occurs. The next part of the letter is additional information. This part of the letter is very important, or the email is very important, I think, because number one, it tells them how to get back to the Toastmasters organization. It tells them the link for the district, so they do know that there's a district and they can see that information. There's a 4.5-minute video that really outlines the club experience, and it's on the site. And there's also an interactive part where you can click on many questions that a new guest would ask, and tells them about Toastmasters. The total Toastmaster Club experience, and I've given you the location on All About Toastmasters. And the next one shows this interactive slide on Toastmasters. And so you click on any one of those questions and it gives you a short synopsis of what that's all about and explanation. The next slide is the closing of the welcome letter. And this again tells them not to hesitate to contact me with any questions or comments, and also letting them know that I personally will be looking forward to seeing them at the next meeting and when it occurs, as well as my contact information. This letter or email I have found very effective. I've had both guests tell me that it really covered a lot of the information and questions that they had, but also Toastmasters have been impressed with this letter in the various, the next. And so then at the bottom of the letter, I put the original notice that came to me, and so that the recipient knows where my email generated. Now, attached to this welcome letter are several things, and they are most of the things that were in this welcome packet. Now that we're online, it's hard to give out welcome packets. So therefore, I put it in the email, and it certainly made my life a whole lot easier. You have the flyer, which we will show in a minute, plus some flyers that I got from Toastmasters on the benefits and features of Toastmasters, the anatomy of a meeting, and then, of course, a membership application with the top line filled in for the appropriate club. Here is the join flyer that is the first attachment. And again, the first part of this flyer shows just the general benefits that someone can receive from being a Toastmaster. And then the paragraph underneath gives something about the Mount Pleasant Club, how long it's been around, and what kind of awards has it received during that time. I think that's all pertinent information. The bottom part of it, again, tells the meeting location, the times, the places, and gives you some contact information. The second attachment definitely is the benefits of Toastmasters that is available on the Toastmaster website. The features and benefits, this gives you the benefits and what their value is, the return on investment of being a Toastmaster, benefits of the Toastmaster membership, and this gives the anatomy of a meeting. And what was shown in the video that I cited before now is in a PDF form, and someone can take this and actually bring it to a meeting and know the roles of each of the participants in that meeting. And then we have, again, the roles and responsibilities for each of the roles in the meeting listed out. The application form, remember I mentioned it, and what you want to do is already have the top line of the application form filled out with the number of the club, the name of the club, and the city that it's in. Then you can go down and fill out the rest of the application. And one thing that I do not have a slide on is on the second page of this, at the top of it, it says the sponsor of a new, restated, or dual member. You want to fill that in with whoever referred that Toastmaster to the club. That's how they get the credit in the membership building for individuals campaign, is when this is filled in, they take note, and it's noted by the national Toastmasters International. If no one is identified, put your own name in there so that you get credit for bringing them in the club, because you probably did. especially if you sent them the email that I've shown you in this talk. The details of the welcome letter that you've just seen, it's addressed to the prospect. The second thing is it's copied to all club officers. That way they can see the original notification that was received with the guests or prospective members' name, email contact, and phone number. And they also know maybe a little bit about that person, so that they are on alert to welcome them into the club and also add those names to the mailing list that is mailed out for future notifications and agendas of the club. The other thing, if you noticed, I used very short paragraphs. If you use long paragraphs, you lose people. So use short paragraphs, just 2 or 3 sentences long at the most. You include the greeting, the warm greeting that lets them know that you're definitely delighted that they're interested in your club, when, where, and how. And it's highlighted, it's also in bold print. That way they can look at the email and it pops right out at them. Additional information and resources are those links that I showed you, and the closing in with the contact information, which would be me initially, and then anyone, you know, the other officers, their emails are definitely in the CC list. So if they felt that they knew one of the other officers, they could contact them directly. And then the attachments. And then they always say, the fortune is in the follow-up. So you follow up with the guest afterward that you sent the email. You can send another email saying, did you receive this? Or you can give them a telephone call. And I usually do call them because I get to know them a little bit better before the meeting starts. And then I can introduce them appropriately. Guest to member journey and which club officers are involved in that journey. And you can see how all the club officers interact in many ways to bring a guest from being a prospect to being a member. The next slide. The executive committee, they organize, and as a member, you are a member of the executive committee, and therefore you organize and conduct any of the club contests. So that would be the contests, and you all work to make that happen. You organize the clubs in participation in the 3 membership building campaigns, the Smedley Award, Talk Up Toastmasters, and Beat the Clock. And then you keep track of the membership goals. You know, how close are you to the 20 mark? You can certainly exceed the 20 mark, but the 20 mark is what is par for the course. The how, when, who, and what to fulfill your VPM responsibility. And how you will fill this responsibility is, number 1, go to the club leadership handbook, which most officers have been given. If you haven't been given it, just just write in search for the club leadership handbook, and you can get a copy in the Toastmasters website. When is developing a timeline so that the club is focused on participating in the membership building times of the year, as well as planning for the 2 contests, because they don't happen spontaneously. You have to work them all in. And who is available to help you? All of your club officers are available to help you. Members, call on some members to be on a membership committee and help share the load and see who would like to assist you and work together. The other thing you can do is look to past VPMs to see what worked for them or how they did things, and also VPMs in other clubs. That's a good idea too. And the materials and resources that are available to you, I have put a couple of them in the folder. So if they are PDFs, one is 100 Ways to Build Your Club Memberships. And it's by Mary Jo Mesnaris, and she's a past district director in District 32. So you can certainly go to other districts online. And in fact, one of the things that you can do is just Google VP of Membership Toastmasters, and you can get a plethora of information about how to do your course, your job. So you attend the district-sponsored club officer training programs, which you're doing today, and I welcome you. Read the materials, and I've put several resources in. I'll put a few more in later today, so do check again tomorrow in the folder that's been given to you for this presentation, so that you get all the materials that I can share with you. Meet with the outgoing executive committee when you first start the job, and then definitely the outgoing vice president, and also meet with the current executive committee so that you're working together. Also invite 1 to 3 members to serve on an executive committee. The other thing is conduct a member survey on the moments of truth, and that's been held in other sessions, so I'll let you learn about that, and create the guest welcome kits. If you're only meeting online, your guest welcome kit is your email. If you're meeting in person, at least at every meeting, have the application form available. That's at the very minimum, and then send them an email with all the attachments that I had in that original email. And order any of the required material that you would need. Resources, these are some of the resources that are available to you. Again, you will have this in the folder. And I am Chloe Singleton, and it's been my honor to deliver this presentation. And I hope you've gained something out of it. So I welcome any questions.
Thank you, Chloe. I do have a couple of questions. One of them was that would they have access to your slides? And I answered for you, of course, that yes, it would be in the Google Docs.
Right, they are.
Excuse me. The other question that I see is, what does a dual membership mean?
A dual membership is when a person is a member of one club that is considered their home club, and then they join a second club. When they join the second club, they only pay the international dues. They do not pay a new member fee because they already are a member, and you only pay that $20 new member fee once.
Okay. All right. So the other question that I'm seeing What were the dates again for the membership drives?
Okay, the membership drive, I don't know if Bob can go back to that slide. It's slide number 14. And the dates really are the beginning of the year. It's August to September, August 1st through September 30th. That is the Smedley Award. The Talk Up Toastmasters is February 1st through March 31st.
Perfect.
And the Beat the Clock is May 1st through June 30th. Now, this does not mean that you can't add new members at any time throughout the year. I highly recommend it. But if you have five or more new members during those times, you get a ribbon and your club will get a 10% discount on their next Toastmaster order.
That is great information to have. And yes,
Right.
membership drives should be going on all year to make sure we hit our 8 is great
Absolutely.
or
You
above.
want to bring people in all the time. But if you go to the next slide, Bob, the individuals, they can earn those pins that I showed you, these pins here, okay? And anytime throughout the year that they get 5, 10, or 15 members. So that's encouraged. But what it's trying to do is give you a focus to really concentrate on getting new members. And another thing that I meant to mention is always wear a Toastmaster pin. If you wear a Toastmaster pin, people will ask you about it. It can be part of your clothing. And for men, you can put it on the lapel of your sport jacket, and people will ask, and it gives you the perfect opportunity to tell them all about Toastmasters.
Very good. I appreciate all this insight, Chloe. Does anybody else have any other questions they would like to either unmute themselves and come online and ask or type into the chat?
Yes, hi. I do have a question. Good
Go ahead,
morning.
April.
Yes, so in reference to the membership building campaign on the previous slide,
Okay.
I just want to ask a clarifying question. So for example, for Talk Up Toastmasters and for Beat the Clock, would you have to get 5 members per time frame, or can it be like 2 members for Talk Up Toastmasters and 3 in Beat the Clock? Just want to clarify that.
No, it's 5 members in that particular time frame.
Okay.
Because
Thank you.
they're each separate campaigns,
Right.
but they have a time limit. But it's a way of getting the clubs to focus on actually getting new members and really focusing on that, because we're all about getting new members. The more members you have in the club, the more interesting the meetings are, the more you learn about a lot of different people with their interests, their hobbies, their vocations, that type of thing. But then it just makes the club more interesting, because then you only have one role per individual, and they can focus well on that one role each meeting.
So we do have another question out there for you, Chloe. What methods have you used to encourage members to invite guests to the club?
Usually what I've done is I've just stood up, smiled, and said, you know, we want to build our membership. Please consider, you know, bringing a member to the next meeting. And you say that at every meeting. Become almost a broken record, but it helps, because it reminds people that it's not only them, but we'd like to have other people. The other thing that I haven't done is focused on the individual membership, about getting these membership pins that I just showed you, as well as if they bring 15 people in, that's a 25% discount on their own personal next order.
Great information, Chloe. Thank you. Are there any other questions if you'd like to unmute and ask Chloe yourself or type it into the chat? Because we still have a few minutes.
Hey, yes, Chloe, are you working closely with your Vice President of Public Relations to do media campaigns like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and things like that?
I have to be honest. Okay, yeah, good. I haven't worked as closely as I should have. In fact, doing this presentation has really alerted me to that fact, and I'm being very transparent here. But yes, what you want to do is work with them, just encourage them to do Facebook and see what kind of return you would get. Also, Meetup. Several of the clubs here in the Low Country, I know, are members of a greater Low Country meetup group that's Toastmasters. And that way, when those clubs, when they get notifications, it's just like going through Toastmasters to get a notification. You can through Meetup. So Meetup is another possibility. But believe me, with all the social media available, Instagram, everything, we live in a wonderful age to broadcast the club.
Does anybody else have any questions they'd like to come online, unmute and ask Chloe herself? If not, I do have a question, Chloe, for you. Personally, I'm in a corporate club. Do you have any suggestions on building membership within the corporate world?
Yes, I do, because I used to be a member of the MUSC club. Go to your Office of Human Resources and definitely sit down and tell them about Toastmasters. If you don't, bring someone in to where you work also to support you, so that they say the area director, your district director, though anybody else that could come in and let them know about Toastmasters, not only the club that's there, but the whole organization and the benefits of Toastmasters. You could certainly give Human Resources a welcome kit designed for them with the similar content. And the other thing is, if you have a corporate billboard, so to speak, and usually those are electronic, or a corporate notifications where they notify you of what's happening lately. That's the first thing in the morning. Get your information on that.
Thank you, Chloe. That's wonderful information. And I think creating that online document may help, and I can send it directly to the HR department and they can send it out to the new hires.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay,
So
Jim, did you have another question?
Well, I don't have a question, but I am a former HR director in several agencies. And I will tell you, as the old adage says, I wish I had known then what I know now, because reaching out and having a Toastmasters club and in a corporate setting is so valuable to the growth of employees. And I wish I had had the knowledge of Toastmasters that I have today, because I certainly, as an HR director and HR manager, I would have been more than happy to reach out and help any club grow their membership, because it's so valuable, not just to the individual, but to the growth of the organization as well. So if you can get that message out to your HR community and HR director, I think it will be very valuable in the growth of your corporate club.
Thank you
for that feedback, Jim. All right, does anybody else have any questions for our distinguished guest, Chloe? All right, while you're thinking about that, I'm going to go ahead and paste the link into the chat for the survey to be completed so we don't forget. It's there now. Double check it and make sure you can get into it.
And please, I've given you my contact information. Contact me at any time with any question or comment. I'd love to hear from you. Bob, you want to show that again?
Or Chloe, do you or Bob want to type that into the chat real quick?
Bob can type it in. Okay. Okay. And thank you very much for the opportunity to tell you about the VPM role.
Please help me say thank you, Chloe. Job well done. We appreciate your expertise and insights into how to build our membership. And I actually have done well on our time. If there's any questions, please reach out to any of us. This video and docs will be available on the Google Drive soon. There's no more questions. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
We got 9 minutes. Chloe's already left the room.
Yes, if you want to go ahead and go back into the main room, feel free to do so.
Okay, if we're done, I'm gonna stop recording. I'm not picking up anything else.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to make mine stop. Mine's just paused for right now,
Well, just hit the square button.
the square button.